Hello guys, today's game is from the Soviet Championship in 1990 with the white pieces Dragan, Kosic, Yugoslavian Grandmaster. At that time he was just an international master, rated 24-15, and with the black pieces uh, Arshak, Petrosian, 2480 at the time. The game started off D4, D5, knight of 3, knight of 6, bishop G5, bishop f5, c4. So what do we call this opening? It's like a started out looking like a maybe a Tory attack with early d5, right? Um, so here knight e4, attacking the bishop from Petrosian. Bishop comes back. So now it's starting to look like London system or Steiner's variation, Queen's Gambit. Um, e6, and now queen b3 as white tries to exploit the absence of the bishop from c8 squared. Knight c6, and queen takes b7. Now let me say that these type of positions, white has to be careful grabbing the pawn. Anytime you grab a pawn with the queen on b7, or conversely on b2 with the black queen on b6, you have to be very careful. You're running around with the queen early in the game, a lot of minor pieces, and sometimes the queen gets in a lot of hot water uh, doing such maneuvers, especially with the knight on c6 like this and bishop on f5. Reminds me a lot of these Baltic variations that black will play, uh, and this is exactly what black wants, is for you to grab the pawn and enhance the lead that he has in development. So here Kosic plays queen takes b7, and then knight a5, and now black definitely is pushing for initiative and to basically stomp white out before he even gets started. The pieces are well placed. Queen is attacked. Knight is strong on e4. Bishop b4 check is looming. Also rook b8 at some point. So what is white to do here? Well, white makes a natural move and he checks here with the queen. After all, he knows he has to get off the b file, so he figures he'll check and then move the queen to a4, and then slide back to d1 at some point, and hey, be up a pawn. Just continue his development. However, c6, queen a4, all according to white's plan, and now queen b6. So now black is attacking b2. So white wants to hold on to the pawn, plays bishop c1. After all, if white just gives back the pawn, then black has everything he wanted, right? He has equal material and a massive lead in development. So that doesn't make sense. And after all, and also he can't really afford to have the queen on b2 anyway, attacking the rook. So he plays bishop c1, and Petrosian plays bishop b4 check, and the game is over. White resigns. Reason why white has to resign is because he's just going to lose a lot of material, as his king is always in danger, and just the use of the pin that's going to occur on d2 is just going to cause massive losses. So for example, after bishop b4 check, which was played in the game, let's say white defends with bishop d2, natural looking defense. Well, just simply knight takes d2, knight b takes d2, and then knight takes c4, and again you have these two pieces converged here. And let's say castles, for example, right, trying to cover b2 and the knight. Then just simply knight takes b2 anyway, because the discovered check after king takes b2 is going to be deadly. So that doesn't work. If after knight takes c4, if queen d1, Then just simply knight takes b2. And you can see in all these lines, white is in a world of trouble. Going back again to this position after bishop b4 check, knight bd2 is a defense, but then again just exploiting the pin. Knight takes c4, queen d1, knight c takes d2, bishop takes, knight takes, and then you can see now this pawn is going to drop. And of course, white is not going to capture with his queen. So this is why white was forced to resign in only 10 moves. Just grabbing the pawn on b7 was the beginning of a risky maneuver, but we're going to go back real quick, and white could have defended, but the lesson to be learned here is that although you can grab the pawn, I mean, unless you're a really strong engine, like you shouldn't grab pawns like that just on principle. I'll show you how white could have defended, but would I recommend that you grab this pawn anyway? No. And although white could have defended, the game is still equal, meaning that black definitely has compensation. So, in other words, it's just in this particular position, it's just a bad pawn to go after. So after queen takes b7, knight a5, instead of queen b5 check, very natural move. Better is queen a6, and we'll discuss that. So the reason why queen a6 is better, first of all, it doesn't give the tempo, right? Because white is already behind in development, so why give up more time? The second reason is that, of course, it gets the queen off the b file, and it also stops queen b6 from happening without the trade of queens. So then from here, play could go bishop b4 check, say bishop d2. It's just a sample line. Knight takes, and then say rook b8. Again, being willing to give up another pawn. If queen takes a7, for you greedy people out there, then just rook a8, and the queen is trapped. Again, always dangerous going after these b pawns in the early portion of the game. So play will continue, say like e3, for example, takes a3, and then you can see there will be a repetition there leading to a draw. So that's just a sample variation of how correct play would go, because basically this variation is showing us that although white goes up material temporarily, and even here his pawn structure is better, it's just that black gets too active in the position, and here it just happens to be a draw. But trying to play this practically as a human being, I mean, it's very difficult, especially if you're not prepared. So I thought it was a bad choice to even grab that pawn at all. All right, but you know he did it. So after knight a5, another possibility is the natural queen takes c7, right? After all, why not take the pawn and force the trade of queens? Problem with that is that after queen takes c7, b takes c7 again. Problems with this diagonal, bishop b4 check, and let's say, for example, knight c3, then knight takes c4, a3, and then a powerful move, knight takes a3, right? Not b takes a3 because of this check on c3. Also, this is threatened. Notice how the pieces are just swarming. If rook c1, then the knight just hops back to c4. So let's say rook takes a3, bishop takes a3, knight takes e4, d takes e4, and a lot of pieces come off, but black is the one that's better at the end. Rook c8, so bishop d6, rook c1 check, rook c2, and you can see the um, development lead of black, and also he's up the exchange here with the better position. If bishop takes c7, that will just be an outright blunder as knight takes b7, and again, black is going to be ahead in material. So another thing is lesson that you could take from it is that usually, again, like if a player has a better position, in this case black, right, he has all this piece activity. Usually the tactics are going to work in his favor, and that's why you see um, basically all these variations working out with like basically white getting crushed at the end because black is so active that um, anything that white tries to do tactically is bound to backfire. If he can't consolidate the position, uh, it's gonna be very hard for him, and we can see by these variations he really can't if he makes one mistake. So the only move that's really possible is queen to a6, and again with best play, perfect play, that will lead to a draw for white. So that lets me know that this would be an impractical choice for white because there's plenty of chances for white to go wrong. He's put in his position at great danger, great risk, as you see in this game, and then you count up the cost. It's just for one B pawn in the opening. So um, again, queen a6 would be the way to go there. So queen b5 again was played, and c6. Now the second question is, well, if queen a6 is the place to be, right? Because in the game after c6, black went to a4 with the queen. So why not go queen a6 now? Why not like try to fix the error? Well, the problem is that this one move is very important because this move c6 covers the b squares, the b5 squares, so that's like a potential escape square. So you can see that the escape squares are limited for white here, right? He can't go here to b7, the knight is covering, the queen is covering the knight, b6 is covered by the a7 pawn as well as the queen, and b5 is covered. So the squares are limited after c6. You see the difference, at least before c6 is played, the queen can escape to b5 if need be, but when c6 is played, he can't. So if he goes back to a6, then tactics prevail. Remember, we got all these minor pieces hanging out, so all you have to do is play a move like e5, hitting this bishop, right? So what are you going to do? Let's say bishop takes e5, right? Let's keep the theme going, and then the bishop just jettisons back to c8, and next thing you know, the queen is lost, just like that. And again, all these variations work out in black's favor. So if he took with the knight, for example, same concept, bishop b4 check first though, knight d2, you could throw that in there, and then bishop c8, or you could just do bishop c8 right away. And again, if white tries to fight tactically from an inferior position, say by playing a move like knight takes c6, then just simply bishop takes a6, knight d8, king d8, and again, white is just better. I'm sorry, black is just better. All right, I have to say like c5, then knight c4 is coming, etc. So this is why he can't quote unquote correct the error by going to a6 here, because then it's too late, it won't work. So after c6, queen a4, queen b6, and notice with the queen not up here, this allows the queen to come into b6 and attack. And during the game, the move in the game, bishop c1 was played. So what happens if he tries something else, right? Like b3. Well, just simply d takes here. And if b takes, then just queen b2. So it's the same position as if black was actually allowed to capture on b2. Right? So the rook is going to be lost. Another idea is after queen b1, we're talking about again ideas, ways to protect this pawn. Of course, if knight bd2, then just simply queen takes b2. At least in this variation, the rook can move. Okay, rook b1 try to reverse the ties. But then here it's black that just offers a trade of queens. And again, black is still better as he ends up with the exchange. So with those choices, white chose bishop c1. And notice all his pieces are on the back right except the knight and the queen. And then bishop b4 check is the knockout blow. So white was forced to resign, and that will be it for that particular video. So I hope you enjoyed that. I will put that in the playlist, GM's losing in 10 moves. I hope you enjoyed that. I'd love to hear your comments below. Well, what do you think about the game? And please like and subscribe. It helps move my videos up in the algorithm of YouTube so that more people will see the videos when they search for chess and such. So if this content, it's good for you or helps your chess game out, please just hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, and share the video on your social media. I would greatly appreciate it. And please consider checking the links below, donate to my channel, supporting the channel, or checking out the videos links that I've placed below also. So I hope you enjoy. Once again, thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on the next video.